I'm going to be talking about why sleep is crucial setup for you as a WoW player, and it is the unsung hero of improving your performance in all things. My name's Antonio. I help WoW players who want to improve their health and fitness. I'm a certified nutrition and strength coach, and at the end of the video, I'm going to give you really specific tips and habits that are going to help you improve your sleep. Sleep is essential in setting up your mind, gut, emotions, and hormones to recover properly and consistently. What does that do? It helps you function at your best. Imagine if you did not repair your gear and sell your items. So your bags are full, your gear is broken or starting to break. How would that be expressed in the game? Every time you loot, you're going to have to destroy stuff and shuffle around and see what's the best vendor item or what you need. God forbid a green drops. And you're going to do less damn if your gear is broken. And you might still be able to kill stuff, but you're not going to be doing as much because that piece is broken. That's you in real life if your sleep is getting discounted. Yeah, you can still go through your day. You can still function. You can still kill a mob like you would in the game. You can still complete a work-related task or have a conversation. But it's just not going to be quite as good. And it's going to feel like a lot more of a drag if you're not sleeping. This is just reality. Regardless of what you hear or tell yourself, you need it to express and feel like your best self. Where most WoW players struggle, you need sleep, but you still want to play. Most WoW players have an inconsistent sleep schedule because we're staring at a screen at night most of the time, and that absolutely cranks our brains. Think back to a time that you were up with your friends on Discord, but you have something you have to do in the morning. You have to be up at a certain time. Thinking about the feeling that you have in the moment with your friends, it's like a high almost, where it's like everything good is going on. You might be doing some content, you might be joking around. And those times where you want to stay up that extra bit and enjoy, it's giving us that short-term boost, right? But then when you go to bed and you have a little trouble falling asleep and you go to bed way too late and then you wake up and you're exhausted the next day or you're groggy and you can never really shake that feeling, that's the cost and the payoff of riding that high up. The hype from the game and the blue light blasting into your eyes from the computer and then going straight to bed makes it harder to fall and stay asleep, and it makes your sleep not as good. And that's expressed through exactly how you feel. What can you do to get the best out of both? So to still enjoy the feeling with your friends in the moment and get an adequate amount of sleep so you don't wake up in that state. Think back to a time that you raided with a pug and how it felt versus raiding with a guild. I feel like everybody's probably done both, or at least tried both. And the biggest difference is that raiding with a guild is on a schedule. And it's not always the same people. But raiding on a schedule and having a game plan of saying, okay, we're going to do this content in this amount of time and slay these bosses sets our real expectations. And from my personal experience, I've seen guild raids be a lot more successful by percentage than pugs. Now, of course, you have examples of the opposite on both sides, where sometimes you go in a pug and they're absolutely ripping and stuff dies. And that's great when that happens. But it's only a smaller percentage of the time, is my point. It's far more consistent to raid with a guild, especially if you know you want to raid every week. The key part of this is the guild raid has a schedule. They have a goal, so they know what bosses they're going to try and kill most of the time in that schedule, and that frames your expectations of needing to be focused, on point, and prepared for those said times. That allows you to get what you're expecting done. Versus with a pug, it's, yeah, we're going to full clear it and it takes as long as it takes. And I've been in some really long pug raids for a ton of different reasons because that schedule isn't set. Those parameters aren't set before. It's just, this is what it is. Setting those parameters with your sleep time and with your gaming time allows you to frame your own expectations more as to what you can get out of them, so you make the most of that time. Everybody needs 7 to 9 hours for optimal sleep, somewhere in that range. The most important part of this is that it regulates your hormones, which dictate how you feel and perform in a huge way. A way to actually maximize your time from both would be set a time to get off of your computer 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed, and don't stare at a screen. And I know that sounds hard, and that might sound like I don't want to do that. But if you weave in other things and give yourself a plan of how to use that time rather than just, I will stare at my ceiling for 30 minutes, you're going to get more out of it and you're going to be more inclined to do it. So, what can you do in that time that you set? You could clean. You could prepare your food for the next day. You could bathe. You could plan out tasks that you need to do for the next day, especially ones that require a little bit more thought and planning. You could meditate. You could read. All these things are going to relax you and bring down your nervous system, make it a lot easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. If you made it this far in the video, please drop a comment saying what's your favorite thing to do before bed, and subscribe to continue following along with this skills series that we're doing. The better you rest, the better you're going to play, feel, and look. Thanks for watching.